Welcome to lesson 1 in this manifestation quest. Congratulations. Congratulations for saying yes to yourself, to your future manifestations, and ultimately to your soul's desires. It's an honor to be your guide, your teacher, and your sister in this journey, this deep inner journey where you get to really peel back the layers behind the scenes and say yes to whatever it is that you desire in any area of your life. Now, for lesson 1, we're diving right in. I'm going to jump you right in the deep end because I know that you're ready for this and you can handle it. I'm going to be sharing pieces of my story throughout this quest. And also remember, you have your tasks at the end, your action items, which are so important when it comes to manifesting the results that you desire through this quest. So, lesson number 1 is understanding the 80-20 trap. Now, this is one of the biggest pieces with manifestation that people screw up and get wrong because they just don't know about it. Just like I didn't know about this when I started out on my journey. I grew up in Auckland, New Zealand, and in a family who very much loved me dearly and still does, but they were very traditional. You know, they believed in following the system, going to school, getting good grades, working really hard, getting a 9-to-5 job and continuing down that pathway. And, you know, I never really knew what I wanted to do as a child. And my dad always said to me, you know, Regan, if I had your opportunities, I would have been an architect. And so sure enough, I went to university and I started studying architecture in an unconscious quest to fulfill my father's dreams and desires. And I remember sitting there at university and a new lecturer walked into the room. And he said, future architects, I'm going to get you to do a process that will change your life. And I was sitting there and I was excited. And he started to guide us through a guided visualization meditation process. And I'd never done anything like this. This was completely new to me. And so I was excited. I sat there, I closed my eyes, and this man said something along the lines of, welcome, future architects, welcome to your future. I want you to picture your life 20 years out from this exact moment in time as the architect that you were born to be. And I remember I started seeing this vision and I saw a life that I knew wasn't my path, that I knew wasn't my ultimate reality. I saw a life where ultimately I wasn't even happy and fulfilled. And I had this moment where it's like my mind disconnected from my body and my body got up and this voice deep inside me was like, get out. And so I ran out of that room. And I made a decision that day that I was going to create a life that I was madly in love with. And I had no idea what that looked like. And I didn't know how that was going to happen. And maybe you're watching this right now and you know that you're ready to create your ultimate reality and manifest your ultimate life. But maybe you don't know how that's going to happen. And that's okay. That's what we're going to be diving deeper into through this quest and through this process. And so this led me into the personal development world. I went to Google and I started Googling, how do I quit my 9-to-5 job? Because Google obviously has all of the answers all the time. And this led me into finding books and different courses and pieces of information that led me to wealth creation seminars and personal development events. And I started going to these events and I started doing everything that the people on the stages told me to do. I started investing money I didn't have. There was one point where I was maxed out on credit cards and personal loans, not for cars and holidays, but for my growth, for coaching, for courses, for mentoring, for education. I started learning sales and marketing. I started learning how to invest in cryptocurrency. I started grasping at any way possible to try and figure out, how do I create a life that I love? And I found myself in a place where I was over 6 figures in personal debt. And things weren't changing. I wasn't seeing results. Businesses I was starting were failing. And I said to one of my mentors at the time, I said, Simon, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I should just get a job. Maybe I should let go of this dream of my ultimate reality and my ultimate life. And he looked at me and he said something that changed my entire reality. And I'm about to share this with you. He said, Regan, do you understand the 80-20 trap? And I said, what trap? had no idea what he was talking about. And he said, look, manifestation, success, your ultimate reality, whatever it is that you're looking to call into your life, it's 80% your inner game. It's 80% your conditioning. It's 80% your mindset, your energy, the version of you that you bring to the table. And then just 20% what you do on the outside, the action you take, the strategy in your life. And he said, the trap is most people have this totally backwards. And they're 80% focused on all the doing and 20%, if you're lucky, focused on the inner game. And I was in that trap. I was so outside of myself. And that threw me off into a different path, a path of studying NLP and hypnosis and energy work. And the minute I focused on that 80% and combined that with the action in my life, I started to see results. Things started to shift. This is the exact journey that you get to go through on this quest. We're not just going to tell you, okay, now focus on the 80%. We're going to be breaking down what that looks like in clear, specific, precise action. So you know exactly how you're going to be able to condition yourself from the inside out in order to step into this next level. And when you do this, and when you say yes to this, and when you start playing this game where you're operating outside of the trap and you're actually flipping it to your advantage, this calls for a greater level of commitment from the inside out. A greater level of commitment to yourself, a greater level of commitment to your manifestations and what you truly desire, a greater level of commitment to this quest. Because sadly, not everyone will complete this quest. And not everyone will manifest what they desire because it takes commitment. And this is my invitation to you to allow yourself to choose to be one of those people that does complete this quest. This is my invitation to you to be one of the extraordinary people, not like everyone else out there in the world, but one of the people who says, you know what? I'm going to choose to become a masterful manifester. And that starts with a deep choice from within. And you know what I've seen when I've seen people say yes to this, when I've seen people step into greater skills of manifestation, I have seen magic and I have seen miracles unfold before their very eyes. So I invite you into that also. I invite you to start expecting miracles through this process because what we focus on expands and we get what we expect every single time. So where do we start with this? Manifestation is a huge piece. And now that you understand the 80-20 trap and you're going to be one of the people that flips that and starts going deeper into this inner work, it's really important to get clear and precise on your focus point. Manifestation can feel overwhelming. It can feel like you have your whole life to shift sometimes. In this quest, you're going to be focusing on one area of your life. And don't worry. Every area is connected. So if you focus on one area, it's going to affect all the other areas. And what's even better is that once you complete this quest, you can come back and you can focus on another area of your life. So what are these areas of your life? Firstly, we have your health. We have your wealth. We have relationships. That includes your family relationships, your intimate relationships, all relationships, working relationships. We have your mindset. Right? Your inner mindset. We have your emotions. Are you controlled by your emotions or are they in a great place? We have your purpose and your mission. Also your passion. How much fulfillment you're having in your life. We have contribution. And of course, we have spirituality. Now, these areas of life are not in any level of hierarchy. It's important that you tune in right now and actually ask yourself, what is the area that really requires my attention right now? And I invite you to pick the area that you're maybe not so masterful at. If you're really, really, really great at all of your relationships, but there's some challenges going on with your money, well, maybe you pick wealth in order to really accelerate that and go deeper. So as I reminded you earlier, every single quest, you're going to have specific tasks and actions to complete and get done. I like to call this your soul work. This is going to accelerate you forward on the 80% and then also shift and change the strategy and the action that you then take in your life. So for your first task, you're going to ask yourself, What am I actually committed to during this quest? Remember, the deep 80% recalibration requires commitment. Are you committed to completing this quest? Maybe you're committed to showing up every single day. Maybe you're committed to not being distracted by things in your life and in your reality. And maybe you're committed to actually going deep within yourself and being totally raw and totally real. It's up to you to create your commitments. But those are some ideas for you to go a little bit deeper. And task number 2, your second layer of soul work, is to ask yourself, okay, what is going to be my focus point? And pick one area of your life. We're going to be working through this quest and doing many deep inner work processes. And you're going to have the opportunity to look at this from a larger long-term manifestation and then also a specific manifestation throughout the days of this quest. But what's important is that both of those manifestations fit into the same area of life. So simple, easy, pick your focus point. Which area are you going to focus on? The third piece of soul work I want you to ask yourself is, how are you now committed to integrating this 80% into your life? What will you do in order to focus on that 80%? Maybe you're going to create time in the morning to have a morning ritual. Maybe you're committed to seeing yourself at a deeper level. Maybe you're committed to learning more tools, specific manifestation tools to allow yourself to go deeper in the 80%. I want you to write out 3 specific commitments so you can really ground into this and anchor this in. So it's been an honor diving deep with you in this training. I am so excited. This is just task number 1, day number 1, lesson number 1. We have so much more to go deep in. And tomorrow we're going to be pulling back in the next lesson, the next layers of how you can become an ultimate manifester. I love you so much. Thank you for being here and have fun with those pieces of soul work.